Being live stream. Oh, let me turn my phones off. I just turned it down.
Welcome, Miss Pluke, to Champagne and Conversations. How are you?
I am wonderful. How you doing, Valencia?
I'm doing well. Cheers to you. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday. Yes, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a 90s girl. We have Miss Pluke here with us, and we'll find out all the amazing things, but we may know her, or you all may know her from the infamous group Straight Ahead, which was a dance group that I envy because I could not perform that way, but they were always performing and to the song that we just played, which is Poison. So yes, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Valencia,
Yes.
for having me. It's such an honor.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
So,
just
and then a Saturday. So we had the opportunity to share on a Saturday, which is cool. But I have to ask you, because I've been saying Miss Pluke, Miss Pluke, Miss Pluke. I want to know, where did that come from?
ah that name came from my grandfather on my mother's side and my uncle, my mother's brother. And it used to be Pluky when I was younger.
Okay.
They named me that. Well, as you know, in our culture, we all have nicknames. So that was my nickname. I have lots of cousins. They all have nickname from my grandfather. And
Okay.
but my uncle and grandfather somehow, I don't know, he was telling me the story, but rest in peace, uncle. My uncle just passed. Oh,
Yes. Oh, what?
yes,
Rest in
yes,
peace.
yes. He just passed this year. And so that was very touching for me to go back and remember that he was the one that gave me that name. So it was so many different emotions started to come up because I really started asking who named me that because of course, during the pandemic, all of the interviews and all of this. So everybody wants to go over your history, go over who you
Yes.
are, your
Yes.
past life and all of this. So I was like, wait a minute, I don't even know where my name came from.
Right, right.
So,
And so it's
so
ancestry. That's so
yeah.
cool. Yes.
They named
I
me
wonder
that.
that as well. So thank you. Thank you for
It
that.
went from Pluky to Pluke. And then, of course, I'm older now. So it went into Miss Pluke as I started cultivating teens.
Yes.
Miss
Yes.
Pluke, Miss Pluke, Miss
Miss
Pluke,
Pluke.
yeah, yeah. You know how it goes.
Yeah, so talking about teens, thank you for that. Let's talk about the teenage years, the mid-adult years that we experienced in the 90s. And I wanted to ask you, how did you get into dancing?
Okay. Now when you say get into dancing, are you talking about
Not the group, but before that, when you really
before
got in,
that? Okay.
you started to develop an interest in dancing.
Okay. I was a little girl at the age of 2, I was told.
Okay, well, then
Yes, so
that
I
was
don't
way
remember being
before your
2 years old.
teens.
Yes, but I was the little baby with the diaper on. And so I can only imagine what kind of dance I was doing because
Shaking the diaper.
mhm, so
Shaking
I'm
that
now,
diaper.
yes. Because we're now we have social media. So of course we're seeing all over the world now. So now I'm
Right.
seeing babies and I'm going, oh, okay, that had to have been me, that baby with that rhythm there. And I can actually feel those little babies. But anyway, so yep, I started off at 2 years old. And then no, not my mother, but my neighbors, when we used to go to my grandmother's house in Inglewood over there off of Hawes, there was a man that was the neighbor upstairs, my day one friend's mother's boyfriend. He had recognized my gift of dancing, and
Okay.
he told my mother put her on this team. And so this team was Pop Warner team, um called the Raiders back then, Los Angeles Raiders. Okay, if you're from Los
Oh,
Angeles or California, then you know all about Pop Warner and the little
yeah.
teams.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was the what did they call him? They called him the sheriff. He was the sheriff, meaning executive, okay, of that
Hmm.
organization. And uh, so So I remember trying out at 4 years old. Now, mind you, you're supposed to be 5. And I just remember them asking me, no, we got to have, well, maybe we could put her as a mascot, because my friends and their mom that took me, Audria was already 5. Audria, if you didn't want me to mention your name, but I'm sure you probably don't have a problem with it. And they are 2 sisters. Okay.
Okay.
And one is a Raiderette now. And then Audria used to be
Okay.
Flipper girl, I think. So they took that route in dance, which was the football professional world. But anyway, so so I started dancing then, and then I just remember being at, birthday parties, and just always I would hear music and I just go crazy. And then they say, okay, tell Pluki to come on back and sit down. And, you hear all these things when you're growing up, but you don't really know what it's really about at that time. So I knew how to dance. Like wherever I went, I wanted to dance. I heard music in the grocery store, I'm dancing. I was in trouble. I'd get in trouble. Come on over here, back over here by this basket. We got to go. And,
You dancing. Now,
dancing.
did you have a vision, a dream at that point that you wanted to do this professionally?
Not yet. Here's where actually, I didn't really even have a dream to do it professionally, not necessarily a dream. I was that kid that I could see things. I was that kid. So I guess that's a dream then. But for me, I guess it. Okay. What is your description of a dream? Because maybe dreaming and the way I translated was that it was real time for me. I felt
Okay, well then that was your vision. It
yes,
wasn't so much of a
yes,
dream. Okay,
yes,
but a
yes,
dream in that same respect. It's just like I want to be on a grand stage. I want to be in front of people performing and
right.
doing this. Or you idolize someone that you wanted to be like.
You
Hmm.
got it.
Okay.
Thank you. Summed
Okay,
it up.
so
Okay.
you just
Anybody
were
know me?
walking in your vision at that point. Now, who did you admire during that time for dancing? Was there anyone like Debbie
Oh,
Allen, or
absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. We
you
gonna
wanted to
get
be on Fame?
yes. Well, before
Yes.
I started dancing, let's go
Yeah.
back to my history of from cheerleader to drill team in high school. I
Uh-huh.
was captain of, I went to Westchester High School. So if you know anything about California, people define you by, they say, what school did you go to?
Okay.
I don't know your town, how they
I'm in
define,
Virginia, so yes, yes, we
uh-huh.
had rivalries. Yes.
Mhm, mhm.
Uh-huh.
So ours was for California. It's always what school did you go to? Just like you have the New Yorkers. Oh, what borough you from? Shorty.
Hmm.
All
Hmm.
of that. So with that being said, I went to Westchester High School where Regina went, Nia, Tim Story, uh, Karen White, and Ken Norton. So those guys came out of my school too. And so fast forward, give me that question again, Valencia. Jesus, I go into my
Who
own.
did you idolize growing up in
Okay.
dance?
So from there, then now I am after high school, my drill team went to Japan. Okay. And we competed there. This is my senior, I don't know if this is my 11th grade year or senior year. But anyway, we started competing there, and we competed at the big arena in Japan. And so I guess in doing that, I guess that stage took me back to those visions that I could see of myself. And so I think that took me on a journey of like, okay, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I went to college, and I had taken on a job as well, because my dad, oh, you can't stay in here and not work. And, you already know that
Yeah.
story.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
fast forward, how I kind of, we'll come back to that. So to my icons in dance, okay, I used to do hair, okay, in my den. I move in with my dad right after I graduated from high school. I'm 17 years old. And then
Okay.
I move with my dad, and I take on a job, and then I find out, okay, that's not what I want to do. So as I'm doing the hair, I was the girl that started doing, I was in love with salt and pepper. So I remember shaving my hair off and then
Shout
putting
out
that
to Salt and Pepper. Yes.
bob right there. Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember doing that. And then there was a girl that lived in Pasadena who was actually doing that style very, very well, much better than mine, because I was just trying something out, going back to being.
Asymmetric.
Yes. So, because I used to braid little girls' hair when I was 9 and get
Yeah.
paid a quarter. And so I've always been about my money and my paper. And so put the little beads on, put the little foil on it. But anyway,
Yes. You're taking us all the way back. Yes.
but it all ties into how I got here.
Yeah.
You know that
Yes.
backstory. You got to know that thing. But
That's
anyway,
right.
okay. All right. So let me stop cutting up. So then, So after, okay, so then salt and pepper, okay. And then while I'm doing hair, I'm watching Yo MTV Raps while I'm in the den. You know, my nice little one, my dad had got me my salon chair and everything, and I'm doing the hair, and we watching Yo MTV Raps, me and my cousin Teresa, and we're sitting there watching, and she dancing, you know, my clients are sitting there, I'm weaving hair in 1 hour, boom, 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 water. So then I think that night I was up late and Arsenio Hall was on.
Yeah.
And that terrible tea. Woo, hey,
Set it off for you, huh?
that terrible tea. I looked at her and Sweet LD, but terrible tea was just a terrible tea. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she was dancing, and terrible tea. I'm gonna make a confession to you in just a minute. So
We get an exclusive. I'm so excited.
I'm gonna share a secret with her.
Yes.
So and I hope you see this one day, and that I've always loved you, adored you as a dancer. And my first time seeing you, I was just in awe. And okay, so I'm sitting there doing the hair. It was late. Arsenio Hall come on, and you hear Hammer, Hammer, I am Hammer. They put me in the mix. And I was sitting, I said, what in the world? I must have went to the TV, turned it up, pushed the volume. This is my first time seeing MC Hammer, by the way. I didn't see videos before that.
Okay.
That's another story in the book, my life before all of this. So this is my new world opening up. I'm at my daddy's now, and I kind of get to do what I want to do because I come from a Christian home background. So you do the math with that the devil is in everything. But anyway, we're going to move on from that. So my daddy's house. So now I get to see videos, and not that my mother stopped me, but I didn't have time. Okay. I didn't have time to watch TV, and now I still don't watch TV. But anyway, so it was terrible tea. Okay, my icon in dance world. The artist was Salt and Pepper. I went crazy over Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
But then I thought that Jackie was in Salt and Pepper. Okay, what is that song? Rock that. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yes.
not
So
that.
express yourself.
Yes. So I thought she was in the group. And so I remember having an eye on her, but I found out.
Shout out to Jackie.
So I
Yes.
find out, she's a writer and she's all these
Uh-huh.
great things. But I thought she was part of Salt and Pepper until I got my posters and things and put them on my wall. And I said, okay, well, where's that lady in this song? And so moving fast forward from that. So those are my icons from the beginning. And then I love the models. Runway models, which was Naomi Campbell.
Sure. Yeah, I just saw a picture. Yes, sure. That
all those
absolutely.
worlds mixed together. Yes, I'd go buy the magazines, look at her and all of that. Once I got to my daddy house now.
Shout out to Dad. So now that explains it, that you have an interest, from what we understand from a previous interview on
Break it down for
BET,
me.
that you had an interest in everything image, everything that looked the part, was the part, said it. That's where it all originated from. You gave us the backstory in that. And so I think that that's super cool. We also share a commonality because I too went to cosmetology school. So when I saw that and heard the story, I thought, oh, this is going to be great because image was your thing. And you just expressed and explained all the folks that were the hot chicks at that time, right?
Yes,
What we would
absolutely.
consider the video vixens. Well, not that, but we would consider the IG models of then.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, shout out to Salt and Pepper. They just got their star. I love all of that. And Naomi Campbell is still killing it on the runway and all of the fashion brands that she's doing. So dope, right? Still.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Forever.
So now talk about you starting in this career. So you have now gathered all of your information, you've gathered your looks, and you know what you like. So now talk about how you stepped into forming this group straight ahead, and your role in the group.
Okay. My role in the group is it was Deborah and I. We both went to elementary school together. And then we went to junior high school together, but we weren't friends then. We weren't close friends. you're in passing, hey girl, that kind of thing. But in high school, we got a bit closer because she was a cheerleader. So, so of course, the spirit groups having to come together to make whatever this is during football season, basketball season, and
Yeah.
all the different seasons during school. So we came together quite a bit, but we still weren't as close as we were when the time came for us to get ready to dance with BBD. So now I'm getting ready to break that part down. I started going to the clubs now. This is all after I see Terrible T and Sweet LD. My world is opening up now. I'm still just 17 and a half. Okay. I didn't turn 18 until October. And then, so after October, I started going out with my cousin. I remember we went to a club called Totally Spirit, Jesus, the Total Experience. And then I remember I had these heels on. I've now gained some more weight. Like, weight has always been a problem of mine. But and so I gained this weight and I was just really excited. And I put these heels on and I went to their house in Pasadena. I was like, yeah, I'm going with y'all. And they're like, yeah, come on. And so I'll never forget, I had this little feather hairdo and
just giving them everything, giving them life.
I tell you, this little feather hairdo, but there was no room for that little feather. Because by the time I started dancing, I'll never forget Alex. Alex, I can't think of his name, but he's a comedian. Okay, and his name is Alex. Alex, what's your last name? Anyway, he was a comedian back then, and I think he's still one now. And I'll never forget it. That song, woo, yeah. Ooh, it takes two to make a thing.
Yes, that was the dance
and that
song.
thing was going on. I had never heard. Now, I missed that one watching Yo MTV Rap. So when I go to the club, I hear that one, I start going crazy. I'm telling you, my hair was turned into an afro because if you're from California, we didn't do relaxer. They press hair here. So they pressed my hair and I had it all feathered. I was ready to go. Man, that thing looked like an afro before I left. I'll never forget, he called my cousin's little boyfriend told her, he said, who's that girl using with the hair?
I had to throw that care.
I had to throw that with it. He said, who's that girl with that hair? That hair turned into a little afro.
That is too cute. That is too, but you were giving it. So what was your favorite song to dance to in the club once you got exposed to the club?
That was it. Raw bass. That's it. Raw bass with the girls. Kumo D came in after a while. That we had a routine to that one, which was I go to work. And that story. I can't remember that story about the girls know more of that story, the detail, and remember that so well. So, but I just remember us competing. I'm now at Paradise. Paradise 24 was the club. And but before that, ask your question again.
Well, I'm going to move on because you did answer the question, but now that you talked about competitions and you started talking about Kumo D, you guys used that song to audition for one of my favorites, which was Heavy D. You guys went and on an impromptu, it sounded as if you were going to audition for the BBD group. And you used that song, at least that's the story, and you were working on the dance moves for it, and they were watching you with that and the dance that you guys did. Let's talk about that. Do you recall all of that?
So how the Heavy D came in was
and again, I love him, by the way.
That was my God, rest in peace, Heavy D. Oh my God, I just love such a teddy bear, and when meeting him, he's such a sweetheart. But anyway,
I'm so jealous.
Don't bring me tears. I know, don't bring no tears. Don't do it.
I love Heavy D, but okay.
Right? And if you love him, did you meet him?
No, I just was one of those little girls, like you say, in front of the TV.
You loved him and you met him, you would have fell in love. You would have thought that was your teddy bear that you need to take.
He was in my mind. He was in my mind, girl. Yes. Actually, I wasn't a little girl. I was a teenager. So yes.
Okay, you're a teen. Okay. I'm a young adult back then. I'm 19 now. No, 18 when we did that. 18. So anyway, so Deborah and I were auditioning for what they call East Coast, West Coast.
Okay.
That was Herbie Lovebug's little brother, Stevie, brought in these girls from New York City to the club. The club back then was called Hollywood Live, and I'll never forget it. T and T in the group, her best friend was, they were girls that were dancing in the club, and they were break dancers, and they did hip hop very well. So I remember I just used to stand there and look at them and go, wow. This is before me and Deborah come together. And I'm going, wow, look at that. Okay, so let's rewind a bit. So this is after I see Sweet LD and Terrible T. Now I'm out at the club, and I'm like, okay, I'm about to go get that right there. So I'm gonna go dance like that. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes.
So, because if you know anything about drill team, or, you know, the way Sweet LD and Terrible T dance, it was a combination of street and drill team kind of mixed together in my mind. And where I come from, that's my translation of it.
Okay.
So I'm knowing, okay, I want to go to the club and go get that wham, wham, wham. So, so I show up at the clubs, and I see T and her friend, and I'm like, okay, well, who are those girls over there? Okay, there's some tomboys right there, boy, they break dancing. Okay, that's my world too. So I'm looking, I'm like, okay. So it brought back memories. T and her friend brought back memories to me, because I used to break dance with my cousins on the cardboard box in our backyard.
Yes,
so it brought back memory for me, going back to, you know, my tomboy thing. And so anyway, fast forward, I just remember T and her friend. And then, so that's Hollywood Live. Then fast forward, we went to, so then I come back to the club again, and then I run into Deborah. And Deborah was like, Marcella, is that you? And I just started laughing, and I was like, yes, man. She said, oh my God. She was just so tickled pink, like how tall I had become, because I was really a shorty in school.
Okay.
I was just probably as small as, you know, no prejudice or nothing like that, but probably the Asians, you know, there's some short people. So I was smaller than those guys in school.
Okay.
So all of a sudden I grow, and she's like, oh my God, Marcel. She just started laughing so hard. And I was like, yes, Deborah. And I was laughing so tickled pink. And then she was like, okay. So she's remembering, she's a cheerleader, I'm drill team. So then she wants to talk to me after the club, or even during. It was so loud. I was like, okay, well, just call me. You know, I give her my number, and then I'm like, okay, here my pager number. Okay, pager, woo woo. So I give her my pager number, and if she pages me, we get on the phone, we start talking. And so she was dealing with, I ask her all the time, what was the name of those guys, which were some local rappers at the time. She said, you want to come dance with me with these local rappers? So of course, I'm very willing to do that, because of course I want to get away from, you know, my lifestyle and things, and I want to change now, you know. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm seeing TV. I'm just all over the place. I mean, really all over the place, because I'm going, okay, this is what I saw, and, you know, all my different visions and things. So I said all that to say, fast forward, me and Deborah, we get together, and we're in the backyard of my dad's house in Inglewood. So we're in the backyard there, and we're rehearsing, and we're having so we're putting together a routine for whoever this young lady and man was back then. They were a little older than us, and I cannot remember their name. I wish I remembered you guys' name, because I just really wish I remembered to give y'all a shout out right now, because you all were the beginning story. That's making me cry that they don't know. Oh my God, it's making me sensitive. I don't know why it's making me sensitive. It's making me sensitive, but okay.
Well, because it was your start. That's it.
Yes, I want them to know. And when you start something, you kind of want, and then when you're successful at it and they helped you,
you want to say thank you.
Yes, those experiences. But anyway,
well, that'll be your homework to go figure out.
Yes. I'm gonna go to Deborah, say, Deborah, okay, come on, you got to get this name figured out. But anyway, so next thing you know, she and we got our little routine together. They tell that story on, y'all go to the BET interview, because they tell the story very well on there.
Yeah.
So, and then we spoke about this, me and my memory of after this part right here kind of gets a little blurry. But anyway, so Deborah and I were dancing for those rappers. I think we might have only danced like twice. So then we had a routine, whatever their song was, I can't remember. And then next thing you know, now we're hanging out at the clubs together, Paradise 24. So then that's where we run into, and then Hollywood Live was there too. And that's where I ran into Shane, Salima, I don't know if Portia was there, but I remember Shane and Salima very well because I battled them in the circle. There was a big circle of these New York girls who came and they took over our territory. And I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute. Whoa, 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 whoa. Who are these girls? What's going on here? Like, they don't look like they from here. This look like this Yo MTV Raps girl from New York. What we got going on here? So then I find out that, they were, who did y'all dance for? Okay. They tell their stories on YouTube too, and all these interviews. So y'all can pick up from there. I don't know their story that well, but my story was that I was going, okay, wait a minute, now who these girls here taking over up there? Oh, wait a minute. Next thing I know, we're finding out that Stevie is wanting to do East Coast, West Coast. So now in him wanting to do that, that's right in my alley. Oh, shoot, the girls that came here try to take over. Oh no, we got to show them who belong here in this Hollywood here.
Right. Despite
That
East Coast,
part.
West Coast, it's us.
That East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
Something happened where we didn't even do it. I don't remember what happened, but we didn't end up doing it. But we did make friends with Shane and Salima at that time. And then and I think Afro was there. You know what? I think Afro was there too. So big ups to Afro. Afro's a sweetheart. All of them are. But anyway, so what else happened?
So now,
Valencia.
had T joined you all by this time, or it was just still you and Deborah?
Okay, so it's still me and Deborah, East Coast, West Coast. So here's what, okay, so before the East Coast, West Coast, that we're hearing about that. Now we go to the club. Thank you for helping me. Then we come in. Thank you so much. I love you. And so we try out. So we're finding out that there's getting ready to be this big to do about this East Coast, West Coast thing. So this is where we run into T and Nikita because they were the ones selected. Okay, so so then something happened with Rosie where we had a 5-member group. We had a 5-member group. There was a girl in our group named Kilolo.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, go to Mark. I think her name. I think that's where he got that from.
Okay.
And so, okay, come on, Valencia, help me.
Yes. So you all got together as a group, and now from this group, we went back to when you guys auditioned, obviously for like I said, Heavy D. I thought that was during your East West competition, but it must have been BBD was present, or they were auditioning you for a possibility in working with them at that time, and you all didn't know, or you kind of went in on the last minute. You hadn't planned to go to that audition.
Okay, here's what it was, okay, I don't know the whole detail again, but what I remember was we already had that routine by Heavy D.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what we were using that for because I really don't remember if we used it during there was a competition. It wasn't the East Coast, West Coast now.
Okay, it was a different one.
It was the locals, yes.
Okay, all right.
And so, wow. Okay, so it was the locals at that time that we were competing with, which was Far Side. And y'all go back to the YouTube. Nikita does that part of the detail.
Shout out to Far Side.
Yes. So they were called, I can't even remember their name back then right now, but their name was not Far Side.
Far Side then, yes.
Here we go. GTI was their name.
Okay.
That was the name of their group. There's, I think, maybe 1 or 2 members that might be as a dance group. I think maybe 2 members are missing from Far Side then.
Okay.
From GTI had a few more members, and then they went into their rapping career.
Okay. All right.
And then also in Straight Ahead, we were a rap group too. That's when Brooke and, it's too much. It's too much. We'll be all day going back over all that.
It's all energy, and we love it. This is all the 90s recap is what Miss Pluke is giving us at this point. If anyone is joining us, yes, she's doing her best. She's doing her best to get all this information into this little bit of time. But it's amazing, the energy, the connections, and how this thing loops together. So keep going.
Okay, so where did I end at?
So you were saying that it was a local. You were already with T T won the competition, so you guys are now trying to figure out how to connect. Okay, I'm assuming that's what.
And then Nikita. So Nikita was with her sister Michelle, and they tried out. And then he was with her best friend Darian, and they tried out. So they picked Nikita and T, and then it was me and Deborah were fortunate enough to be a group that didn't break up. Okay, so that's so, anyway, I'm so emotional at times, but
Good. This is good.
so
This is good information. Yes.
yes. So what happens after that is we did something. Deborah and those guys tell that story about Rosie and LL Cool J and how we competed against Nikita and her sister and T and her friend first. So they tell that story back on YouTube if you
Yeah.
guys go back to that BET. And yeah, they're much more thorough than I am.
Okay. So
Mhm,
each group was competing for this
mhm.
opportunity. You all had
Yes.
not come. Okay. All right.
Mhm, mhm,
Okay.
mhm. And so fast forward, we didn't win or something like that. We didn't win. But we still, it's really weird because I went to school. Here we go. Fast forward to Joyce and Demonica, and the Good Girls. And I don't know the detail of that story with Brooke,
They were
but
dancing too. Uh-huh.
mhm,
Uh-huh.
with the Dappers, that was during high school days.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the Good Girls was, now we're in entertainment. We're in the big world now. We're in the real field now.
Okay.
And not that that wasn't real, but I'm just saying a different level. So
Shout
um,
out to Joyce and DeMonica. Good girls.
Mo and
Fan.
JoJo, love
Yes,
y'all.
that's right. Gotta love the good
Girlies,
girls.
yeah, they're my girlies, my girlies. So I
Right.
went to school. I went to high school with those two, by the way. Me and
Okay.
Deborah. Okay, so somewhere in there, where before we were dancing for BBD, they had asked us to come do choreography for their song "Your Sweetness." I remember being in the studio with them, and then yet Deborah, I think, and Brooke were in communication too at the time. So it was kind of like a conflict of how we got there. How did we arrive? So I just want to clear that up about, we already knew them from high school. We already knew them. So
Mhm.
I think there's somebody saying that Brooke had actually brought us in, and I'm like, no, we already knew them.
Okay.
Just to clear that up, we already knew Joyce and DeMonica, and I think Joyce had found me, or we ran into each other somewhere, and she's like, yeah, come on down here and help us, and whatnot. Fast forward from that, that's a whole nother world of dance. Back then too, like, it's so much that went on there. I wouldn't even be able to cover all of that. That would be just an interview by itself, talking about the dance world, because the dance world, dancers were just as much celebrities as the
Yeah.
ones like
Actually, I think in that time you guys were, because like you
yes,
stated, the Rosie Perez and all of those folks were so known. If they were on a stage, that's
yes,
what was mentioned at that time.
yes.
So super dope that you had an opportunity at the very beginning to compete. Now, did you all ever work together? Did you ever work with Rosie on any projects?
Yes, Rosie, going back to that story about LL Cool J, where Deborah tells that story. But anyway, this is where we run into her at. And then here's where we worked with her at on, there was what is that thing called? All-Star basketball game. I think this was the first one. And we were the halftime dance
Oh,
show.
nice. Okay. How cool. All
Yes,
right.
yes,
Okay.
yes. I'm just now remembering that.
There you go.
But
There you
that's where
go.
we worked with her at.
Okay, that's
Yes,
cool. So
yes.
now forming you all competed, you didn't actually get the spot that you wanted at that particular audition. How and or when did you all connect as a group, separate and apart from those auditions? You and Deborah were together, T and Nikita were together, but when did you all connect and become
Okay,
straight
when did
ahead?
we come together? Okay, so we came together during that time with Rosie. That time, that's when we
Okay,
came together. We were still practicing and everything for our competition, so we were together then as dancers. Then after that Paradise competition, that's where Mike was there. But Brooke was already in there, going back to the Good Girls thing. He was already a part of the Good Girl movement at that
okay,
time.
okay.
So it was kind of
Michael
like,
Bivins.
yeah, so it was kind of
Okay.
like both of them had already, so they come together and like, well, wait a minute now, I just saw those girls. And so it was just one of those things where everybody saw us on that night. We
Uh-huh.
didn't win, but I guess a few people thought we should have won or whatever,
You were at the right
So
place at the right time, and you all performed the right way,
thank
and
you.
there you are.
There you go. There you
So
go.
we needed that gym to be just that.
Yeah.
Right place at the right
So that
time with
moment is
the
what catapulted us um,
absolutely.
to dance for BBD. But Deborah tells more of the detail. All of the girls tell more of that detail about how when Brooke called her and said, can y'all dance to this? Which on a cassette deck, I think he gave her the song
The song. Uh-huh.
Poison.
Uh-huh.
Poison. So
Uh-huh.
we put Heavy D's routine to that.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. And we just
And
changed some things and whatnot.
and then they kept it as the
Yes,
routine. Yes.
yes, yes.
And then that launched the
Mhm.
straight ahead becoming the BBD dancers.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And
So
so the
cool.
reason why that song was okay, let's go over that real quick. The reason why that song was able to be the reason why we were able to use one song into another song is because back in those days when you did choreography, you did not, well, I'm not going to say everybody, but I'll say as for me and my house and being in drill team and all of that kind of stuff. And what we did then was we danced by counts. So if a song was slowed down, you still could put any routine to any song,
Okay.
any rhythm, because things were done by counts. They weren't done by the words like the way they dance today.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, my daughter
Yeah.
danced away on TikTok, and my daughter's a dancer too. But so
This was an
they,
art you're saying right now. At
yes,
this point, this is a trained art and a skill and rehearsal and time spent to get a choreography or a choreographed piece put together. So yeah, I mean we truly appreciated it because we spent a lot of time trying to
yes,
mimic those dances and it was
yes,
hard. I was
yes,
out of breath and all
yes.
that kind of stuff. So now before we move on, I want to ask you, now you mentioned your steps and such. How did you all prepare for these dances? Did you all work out? What was your regimen for that?
Oh my God. Okay, what's really funny about that? There was really no regimen. The
I
regimen
knew you
was
were
was
going to
that
say
we
that.
were already. Nikita was a cheerleader. T was already a dancer in the club. So all of like, if you remember, our type of dance was more athletic. So of course that put us into shape. We didn't work out and do all of that, and so no, we just that was the workout, just dancing.
That
And
was the word.
those dances were very oh, I felt like an athlete back then.
Absolutely. It was high energy.
Yes,
High
very.
energy on every
Yes.
level. Now, who would ideally come up with the dance moves? Would it be everyone or one specific person?
No, it was all of us. Like we pieced together 8 counts. See, going back to the counting. So we did 8 counts for our routines and then put them together in that manner. Yeah.
I think that's so cool though that you accepted each one and your contribution to it. It wasn't that it had to be one person that always choreographed the moves. You all did, hey, let's do this move and that was received. Hey, let's do that move that was
Yes.
received. So I think
Yes.
that's so cool as a group, especially during that time because
Mhm.
you all were females and you were
Mhm.
considered just as much as the artists during that time to come out and do something. So now the first time that you performed to Poison? Was that on Arsenio Hall?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if Arsenio Hall was before we did Poison itself, the video in New York City. We flew to New York City. I'm not remembering if that was prior to or after.
Okay, but how did it feel? Do you recall the moments that you first did that dance?
Oh boy. When you were already a dancer and you're already in performance, it just kind of felt for me. I know the girls, I listened to their story. Theirs is a little different than mine, and all of our stories are different. For me, it was just a I think I said in that last interview, it was just a carryover to the big stage. Was I excited? I guess you could say I was excited, but also I think there was so much that transpired prior to that. And I guess, as we say today, energy and all this stuff. So going back to being younger and not really realizing what is going on with you or what is really happening. I think we discussed earlier about being empaths. And so that's a whole different story for me. So
So it was a
You know,
little overwhelming. You really weren't, no, you really
thank you.
didn't. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I
I
mean, you
told
were
somebody I
young
didn't
and
live in the
just,
moment. I didn't live in the moment. And I
yeah,
think that's why I can't
that's
really
right.
remember the stories because I was kind of like the one that was always in protection mode. I feel like I'm a huge protector, you know. So a lot of things for me felt I'm in protection mode of everything. And I'm that way now. It hasn't changed. You know, my mind is always on, you know, everybody's having a good time. And then sometimes I'm just kind of in protection mode. You know, I feel like, you know, the watchman on the wall. I'm always looking and I'm laughing and everything, but I'm paying attention.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I think, and we've had some back conversations, guys. So Fluke and I have gone into a different connection here. But just to say, I think that it's one of those things where we weren't almost able to live in the moment. Like we
Yes,
always had some sort of
yes,
reservation because of things like our upbringing. Don't you get too excited, or that's not real, or oh my God, that's all fantasy. Get back to reality. It was that kind of thing. And even if they didn't know that they were doing it to us, I mean, adults, the ones that we were growing up with, it was just like that type that, you know, like we were in a box. So to have a celebratory moment in that moment you didn't know because you're thinking what's next, is this real, is this can't be, what's
you
getting ready
got
to happen,
it.
you know. And so we know that now looking back to say we had some amazing moments and
Yeah,
they were very carefree and very easy, but we
yes,
couldn't accept them as that because we were
yes,
boxed in mentally, not
yes,
so much physically, because like you say, you guys were soaring at that point. The first time that you did that, you would have been turning cartwheels after a performance like that. But you're like watching, like, what's next? Who's going to do something? Is this really going to happen? Where are we going from here? Oh, this isn't a big deal. And it was a big deal. I remember
a huge
Deborah
deal.
saying it was a big deal because, guys, they became the dancers for BBD. And of course, I'm so psyched because I love New Edition. So whether it was one, two, three, four of them, whatever it was, BBD was obviously a spinoff from the New Edition group. But all in all, great fun, great energy. You know, and all of you all were kind of like inspiration to us as young people. And, you know, whether you wanted to be a dancer or whether you like fashion or whether you like just the whole thing. And you guys still looked as if you were gaining the respect of the industry. It
Yes,
was
yes,
nothing that was like, you know, degrading or any of that. It was so much excitement, whether it was hairstyles or, you know, whatever.
yes,
We had so many things that we could plug into
yes,
on your MTV Raps or in Living Color or, you know, whatever it was,
yes,
and sit in front of the TV and just be like, oh my gosh, there's such and such. I'm going to, you know, dance to the
yes,
music or pick up a routine because we did those routines with cheerleading as well that you guys may have already choreographed. So I think that that's amazing that you were able to experience that. It's unfortunate you didn't take it in at that time. And you still aren't really letting yourself take it in. It's like, did it happen? Okay, it happened, but we're here to share it happened and it was amazing. And
yes,
cheers to you and
yes,
thank you for sharing these moments, these stories,
yes,
because this is what it's about. It's about now understanding the impact that you gave to the culture, to the time.
yes,
Just good music, just good energy, fun, examples of what it looked like to be on big stage, because you
yes,
referenced that a lot. So
yes,
now, moving forward, your career is now taking off. How are
yes.
you feeling?
I am I'm feeling great. I'm feeling really good. The things are coming together. Um while you were talking, there was something that bypassed me that I wanted to share, but hopefully it'll come back up because it was very vital and very important to something that you had said.
Well, I
Um,
was saying living in the moment. That's probably where you wanted to go with that. And often we were put in a box, not maybe intentionally, but that was just our thing. Like we couldn't
yes,
live. We didn't
yes,
know to
yes,
embrace it at that point.
yes,
So wanting to accept it and understanding that it was real. You were in
yes,
that moment. It was happening.
yes,
Were you happy with your pay? Were you happy with your travel? Were you happy with your look? You were
yes,
contributing to all of those things with the
yes,
group, right? That
yes,
ponytail that
absolutely.
she has right now, that was the infamous ponytail
Yes,
that we talk about
yes,
in the
yes,
group.
yes,
But you were one that was considered the image consultant of the group. and you were the one that assisted a lot in the wardrobe and the look, the makeup, the hair, which again I think is nice. That's what I was saying, sharing earlier with you, is that I thought it was really cool that all of you all contributed to a
Yes,
part of the group and you were accepting of that. It
yes.
wasn't like one person had to do it all.
No.
Yeah, that's very cool. Now I did my best to bring you back, but you didn't get it, so okay. I tried. I was trying to walk you back through where I was.
And it's
I
still
tried, people.
Zoom.
It'll come back to you. Yes, I'm sure. So much information and energy to get into a small amount of time. But yeah,
Yes.
so now as you guys are
We did so much
touring,
talking prior to this, like I'm like, okay, what more can I mean? We did the height, the depth, and the breadth of everything. So how do we come back to this surface board?
yeah, we're giving this to the people. Okay.
I
We want
understand.
them to be able
Yeah,
to
I hope.
bask in our fun.
I
And then if
hope.
they want to join us for side conversations, then you can DM us for that.
Yes.
But at any rate, but for now, you're getting the
Okay.
basics.
I love.
So touring, let's talk about that. You have any touring stories? I told you I wouldn't do this to you, but I now want one.
Right. See, I'm trying to think. I mean, there were so many, but I guess I'm trying to come up with the one that probably is the most impactful in my life. Let me think. Or one that I truly remember. Because
Yeah.
like I said, me and my moments, um,
A
Jesus.
group that you toured with that was super fun.
Yes, let me think. Well, we were out there with Keith Sweat and we met the our sister dance team, which is uh Carolyn, Marilyn, Shane, Salima, Afro was out there, April, uh Sunsaray, Leslie, Big Les,
So you
and
came in contact with them again after the days of being in the Paradise Club and all of that. Now you all
that
are
was
on the
that
road
that was
together.
the that was our first tour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. All
it was
right.
Keith Sweat had a bunch of girls, and then that's where I met Jackie too. hmm
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. I love it.
that's the big sister.
That's the big sis.
And let
Shout
me
out to Jackie.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, oh man. Okay, so what was my impact? What was a funny one? Ugh. Okay, give me a minute because there were some good ones. See, that was why I was telling you that I wish T was here, because if she starts something, then I can finish it. It all comes back to me. But
A place, a person that was a fan,
okay.
anybody.
Okay, I think for me, here's a funny one. Now that I'm thinking about it. There is a fan that it remembers my birthday to this day, Tamiko. Okay. She lived in New Orleans. This tour was in 1990.
Okay.
Um, and I wouldn't say we're close friends, but I feel very close to her. Like she remembers my birthday. She texts me now on my birthday.
So cool.
They were in New Orleans in
Mhm.
1990. And I just remember they had on our overalls. They had our routine down pat. It takes them I was that girl, I think, from listening to people. I
Mhm.
was that girl that if they couldn't get in or want to meet the guys, I was that one that was the one that would sneak them into my room.
The
Um,
hookup shit. Okay.
yes, yes, I was that one because I always felt like, they're the reason. They're the reason why you where you are. Like, what do you mean they can't come? Like your album sales, they are a part of that. They're a number there. What made your numbers where they are? They're a part of this. So I didn't understand that sometimes. So I was always there for them. Like they tell this story, like this one girl told me that I took them, somebody on Instagram lately told me that do you remember taking me to go and see Ricky? And he was like, what are you doing, Pluke? And so I used to do some crazy stuff. I would take them to my room. Okay, just wait right here. They're going to come back down later. I think I was so terrible and horrible that I think I even gave up the secret names that they used to have. The names, to their room. Oh, I was horrible.
They like, you cannot go on tour with us. You are violating
I'm
all
not
of the
sure if they
code.
ever found out. I guess I'm, oh, don't kill me, y'all.
Now you
I'll be in
now
trouble.
we got the exclusive.
I'm gonna,
She
but you know,
she was the
you know,
informant.
but you know how people always say, you know, but I didn't mean no harm. You know, it was for a good cause, and I have to tell people, I go, yeah, but people don't want to kill people, but they
I
do.
know, and luckily nothing happened on your watch for sharing
Yes,
people's
I'm so
information. You understood the excitement to all of those folks that was now coming as your fans. Like you said,
yeah,
you were looking at the dollars and cents, like we got to keep these people here. We got to keep them happy. So
yeah.
yeah, you.
Well,
I
well,
definitely
well,
wish I had met you.
well, you know what? I don't, well, I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't coming from that standpoint of keeping them happy. It was just a standpoint of just, I'm one of those advocates of, what do you call those people? The not a minority. What do you call it? My heart just always went out to the fans. Like I always felt
Yeah,
like
that's what
you're
I'm saying.
equal.
You wanted
You're
to
like
give them an
me. Like,
experience.
yes, I always felt
Hmm.
like I really couldn't take in the whole. I remember, oh, here we go at another moment. I remember we went to Japan, and this is when I knew that, you know, we were just, I wouldn't say just as important, but we were recognized. And so they Pluke, Nikita, Deba, you know, they were going crazy over us just as well as them getting off the bus. So that was another moment for me, like, huh? And I remember bringing, you
We
know, the
made
little
it.
girl, yeah, and I remember bringing them up to our room and all kind of stuff. I've always brought people up to the room, and so now I look at it now like that was pretty dangerous.
Yes,
You know,
very.
people like
Luckily, nothing
that.
happened.
Well, I guess here we go with my discerners that would kick in, because now let's not, you know, I won't forget that, you know, if I wasn't feeling you, then no, you better back up. You
Okay,
know,
so you were
so I
using
wasn't always
discernment.
just
Okay.
okay. Yeah, so let me correct that. I wasn't
Okay.
always just a nice chick either. You know,
Okay. All
out there
right.
clowning, you was gonna hear it from me too. So you know,
That
I
was
was
cool.
I was the typical black girl. You know, that black girl that rocks. Yeah, that girl. Mm.
Yes. So that's cool. So now with all of the tours that you had gone on, was there some place that you enjoyed most in all of the places that you had gone? You said Japan. Was that your favorite?
Let me think. No, New York City was my favorite.
Really? You didn't
That's
go
because
anywhere.
yeah, I had I think on the interview, the guy said, you know, why the dudes on the West Coast, Pluke, we never can get love from you. You know, he said that on the interview. That was
Uh,
Legend from the Soul Brothers. Legend, that's my little friend there.
yeah, yeah.
And so he had said that, he said, you know, because my first boyfriend was from and my first son's father, he's from New York.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. So and
you got
then
bit by the bug.
yeah, I did. And then,
Bit by the
and then
Timberland
I
boots.
married a Southern Eastern man.
Okay.
So that's what made him come with that. What, you know, you don't give us no love. So the reason why I brought that
Grew up
up
there.
was
Yeah.
because I think New York was very exciting for me, because that was you know, that was Yo MTV Raps for me. That's a real world. Like
Big
those are real
stage.
people. Yeah, because that was my first encounter of, not first encounter, it wasn't the first, but it was my, what do you want to call it? The because I traveled already, so it wasn't the first. I told a lie there, but
It just was something that really grabbed you, your
yeah,
interest. It
yes,
was a
yes, that
connection there.
talking, yo, we talk like this and we walk like this, and then just the whole synergy
Wow.
and energy was so conscious. And then I loved, I think, the directness, because I'm a very direct person. So I think I love the directness from those people. I identified with the direct because, you know, here, Los Angeles is kind of like, you know, we're taught etiquette. Okay. And so where's mine taught at? I guess that's probably what you about to say.
No, I'm just saying etiquette. Yes,
Yes,
it's a
they're very
process.
strong here. Yeah. And I think I kind of, you know, rebelled against it. I think I felt like maybe it was too, we getting off the subject, but that's okay. Um, I don't know. I just want to be me. That's it.
Yeah, and it was a way to be free. New York is a very free place. It
Yeah, thank
feels
you.
that way.
Come on,
Yeah,
help your sister out. Come
it
on.
feels that
See?
way. And it still is like that. Even at this age, even at this time, you go and you're like, the lights, the big city, the like,
Yeah.
it's so much opportunity here and it's so many things that you can do. And that's what, that's what that's
And
about. But I feel that way in California too.
do you?
Yeah, but just not like not as bright, like you're
Okay.
saying, as New York City. But yes, I
Yeah.
do feel that way all the
Oh,
time. Yeah.
oh wow.
Actually,
Okay.
I would live in California before I lived in New York.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I think probably what you might like here, if I could speak for you, you might like because I did the East Coast South too, and then now I'm back home, and that's where I'm very excited to be back home. I feel like I've journeyed and done so many different things, and we spoke about the height and the depth of who I truly am. Not truly am, but just another level of me, and so I said all that to say I'm just I think let's get back to this New York thing. I think for me with the New York thing, and I started speaking for you too. Like I said, it was the directness, and I think I identified with, here we go, the Big Apple, and which I'm raised here, which is Hollywood. So it was just kind of like a combination of the two. Of one is a bit more direct. Okay, here's something that was very profound and stood out very well to me. You call Motown in California and they say, "Thank you for calling Motown. How can we direct your call?" Okay, real cute. And I'm not saying that wasn't cute over there, but they were just more, "What up? This Motown." Okay, well, where you gonna direct me? So, so I thought that was very profound to be, because I always thought that Hollywood was,
Yeah.
professional.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that they weren't. Profession in our mind is, the cuteness, the fluffy. I call it
Yeah.
fluffy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so to hear that, this is Motown, what up?
You're like, oh,
Are you going to direct my call?
no.
And you didn't hear that part. So I
They like,
thought,
what do you want?
I thought that was really interesting. And then they were very emotional people to me. Yo, son, you know what I'm saying? Yo, so I kind of was like, wow, I'm kind of emotional like that too.
It's a whole new world.
Yeah.
I'm exposed to a whole new world. Yes.
I felt like I was more home there, because here sometimes it was, in question, well, where are you from? I remember I danced with no shoes on. My little crusty feet, they be ashy, and I'm ashy now, and I don't care. I'd take my shoes off in rehearsal, just so I think that, you start discovering, and we ain't gonna go into the height, the depth, and the breadth of that, but you know what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
um,
So you experienced the New York scene and you loved it. And then from there, you guys continued to excel. Now, you did step into your own for a moment and become rappers. And how did that part go?
Okay, so now before BBD, we were already, Brooke had introduced us to that as a group, right? But before that, let's just go back to when I think of Tyler Perry and his movies and different things like that.
Mhm.
That went on in my church when I was little. I was always playing the role of a prostitute. I was always playing a role of uh, a mother. These were plays that we did in church ourselves. These were things that my church was a different kind of, my church was a very small family church, but we had some very talented people in there back then. So when I see his films, a lot of times, a lot of things become
Yeah.
very,
Right.
I
Right.
remember.
Right. Right.
So I said all that to say I was just exposed to those things already, like writing scripts. And then I went to performing arts school too. I went to Loyola Village,
Hmm.
and that's by Westchester. And I remember I was in dance there and theater, and I remember I played a ghost. And so so I've had roles of, you know, acting already.
Hmm.
So to come and rap when Brooke tells us to come, y'all got to do more than that. That's what he was saying. This was before, I think, BBD at the time.
Okay.
Um, or it was simultaneously, I think.
Okay. All right.
But and he paid for our pictures because, like, okay, y'all need, photos, and he wanted to manage us then. What happened, why we didn't, I think something became conflict of interest somewhere, because now we're dancing for BBD. He's BBD's choreographer slash possible manager, I think, at the time.
Hmm.
So those things became, I guess it was just too close to home, or conflict. I don't remember why we didn't, but we never, what I love about us is that we never fell out with anybody. We've always had
Yeah, yeah,
tenacity,
that's good.
flexibility, character, and most of all, integrity.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't remember falling out with them, even though I might have disagreed on multiple things, and they disagreed on multiple things, but I will say BBD was always had integrity. There were a lot of things going on in there, but integrity, they protected us. They protected us from other artists. And I think for them, when I think about it now, had we been the young girls that we were running around and exploring and being excitable, who knows where that could have went.
Uh-huh.
So then we didn't like the protection. We wanted to do what we wanted to do. So I think now that I'm older, I'm very grateful
That they watched over you.
and mostly Brooke
Yeah.
kept a watch on us in the very beginning. And so what my memory of them is just simply protecting us, if nothing else.
Yeah, so cool.
Really, now when I go back over things in my life and my kids and how I'm the hoverboard mom, slightly, get that part. So they were protectors of us.
Yeah. What did you all like more? Did you like the dancing more so than the rapping?
I wanted to do it all, and I'm doing it all now. Yeah. I wanted, me personally, I wanted to do it all. I remember when we were making our album, Far Side came in and I was a character. I was my boyfriend at the time, which was the New Yorker. And I remember him giving me a character called the Imposter Rasta, because I was always in character, always, in character. I used to have fun doing what is it? Impromptu. I was always mocking someone, always. My dad played the dozens. I love playing the dozens. Your mama so fat that, I was always, always clowning. In other words, clown.
Yes, always keeping someone laughing. So now you've had the opportunity now, as you've gotten to be an adult, to step into all of that, as you've mentioned. So you have now taken on entertainment in its entirety, in every aspect of art and dance and music. You've taken on, and you were I guess you were independent as well as you became solo with what you were doing. And you mentioned you were a ghost character. I think that's real ironic that you did a rap on a ghost song with DJ Hurricane
Yes.
as you got into your later years
Yes.
with that. So now just segueing into being a solo artist, how was that with the career?
Being a solo artist back then, as a matter of fact, he used to manage me, and I was doing spoken word. I was underground then. I was in the clubs in New York, the underground clubs, and watching the artists, and
So now you've worked your way to New York. Is that what's happening?
yes.
Okay, that was
I made my
good.
way to New York in about maybe
Okay,
97, and I
okay,
did my album with a gentleman, Rest Your Soul, Curve. He
okay,
was here in California though.
okay,
And I did my whole album with him. And as a matter of fact, I'm not sure if that album was called Totally Spirit or Ghost. I don't remember. But,
okay.
and the reason why I probably don't remember is because this is now where I think I might have learned to live in the moment. And the moment was I
Oh,
was in pain, which made me turn the lemons into lemonade, as my mother would always say.
nice.
Your
Okay.
bad situations and make them good.
Mhm.
So that's where I turned all of my anger, because I just broke up with that New York boyfriend then, and I was a little upset with him. And so I went on the mic and I released all of what I was feeling in those songs. So after I did that, then I became free. And I became what they call a ready writer. I became a scribe, and I'm writing. And then that's when here we go with, spirituality, not religion, was starting to come in then. So now I have taken my weed out and all these things, and let me love myself. And,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
all of that as young women.
yeah.
And I have my first son with him too. My son is 27 now. And so, uh,
So you step out of your career and you go into motherhood, and now you're reaching for yourself. Now you're in New York City. Now, how long did you stay in New York City?
I was there like about, I was, hmm, I was back and forth home. There would
Okay.
be a show, then I'd go, and I'm in, but I'm spending the majority of my time there though.
Okay.
I just remember coming home, dipping, coming home, dip, come home, come home, come home. I remember always touching base back with home for whatever reason.
Absolutely. Now, did you have your son at that time? So were you going back and forth with?
Yes, he's like 2 years old.
Okay. All right. Now, do you feel like you having your child, did that kind of take you away from your career for a moment?
No, what happened was we went to the reunion tour in 97. My son is 2. So the reunion tour was here. I was actually not wanting to leave him for the reunion tour, meaning I was going to miss him for a few months.
Oh,
And
wow.
that tour I remember was shortened because it was we didn't make all the dates, or we might have. I don't really remember, but
The reunion of Straight Ahead getting together
no,
with
New
BB.
Edition reunion tour. I'm sorry, New
Okay.
Edition
All right.
reunion tour. Yes,
Okay.
and I remember going back out there then, and here we go with not being very living in the moment again. I'm still in
Wow.
another place again. Yeah. Um,
So what would your today tell your younger self?
oh, that's a good one. Let's see. I would tell my younger self to learn to live in the moment. Um, I would tell my younger self, oh, that's a good one. As far as a career is concerned, always let things happen for you and not to you. Let it happen for you. Patience is a virtue. Don't rush the process. Enjoy your process. Enjoy your good, your bad, your ugly, your sad, your indifferent, your unbeautiful. Embrace them all like they're the same. Don't just embrace your beautiful moments. Embrace when you are having difficulty. I think I might have learned that at a younger age. Because when you come from a home of people that are not people, but my parents were pretty much like probably all the rest of the cultural Black parents that were very hard on you, but yet loving. I didn't feel neglected in any kind of way
Sure.
because you did feel the love, that nurturing and that love from your family, but they were tough.
They were
My
tough.
grandfather would say the people that
Yes.
are smiling are not really smiling, they're upset. Those that are upset, wait a minute, those that are upset are really not upset. Those that say they need, they don't really need. So you're saying, what, Papa? And
They always had a theory, a philosophy that was way over our heads, way too
yes,
far for us to understand. Yes.
yes.
Share your social media so that anyone that wants to tap in with you can reach you.
My social media is Instagram, Miss Pluke, MISSPLUKE. My, I'm not on Facebook. I used to be. My other social media is Twitter. I'm up there, Miss Pluke again. And then I'm also, my management company is Sting. And then that's it.
That's a great thing. So now, in terms of the management and the new era of Miss Fluke, what do we have? Do we get an exclusive, or we have to wait to get the announcements on what's new with?
You gonna have to wait because they say, you don't tell the right hand what the left hand doing and the left hand.
Oh my
Your
gosh, is it new music or new dancing or
it's all of it. We'll just say it's all of it. You
is
want me to give
arts
you
and
some pass? You want me to give you a pass lyric?
I want to give you, yeah, give us a
I'll
bar.
give you all it takes. And actually you can go and Google or go on YouTube, Miss Pluke, DJ Hurricane Don't Sleep. I did that piece in 2000. That was a spoken word piece that it was about a hurricane. He said, write about his name. His name is DJ Hurricane. Big ups to DJ Hurricane and his wife. Beautiful people. I want to give them a shout out. I don't like to do shout outs because you leave out people and then they start
Well,
all
it's all love. Charge it to the mind and not the heart. That's what you say.
break
I'm
it,
live. I'll be live again.
break
But
it.
I got out all that I could today.
I'm gonna close out with my piece, and I look forward to seeing you all in the nearest future.
She'll be back.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm excited. And thank you all for all of you all support. I learned people don't have to do anything for you. So any of you that have texted me, wish me happy birthday, any of you have sent me love, gifts in kind, words of encouragement, prayers, anything, any love. I learned that you didn't have to do that. So I just want to thank you all. I wish I could give you individual thank yous, but that would be a whole lifetime, literally.
We thank you too.
Oh, thank you, Valencia.
Are you going to leave us with a piece?
Oh, baby, you such a doll, baby. I watched you with Demo and I was like, oh, I just love her. So anyway, yep, I'll do it now. Okay, I wrote this one in 1998. And my little heart was broken at that time. And by the way, I have never mind to my children.
Yes.
I love you guys. That's what your mother will say to you all. I love you all. And thank you guys for your support. You guys are so phenomenal. I want you guys to know that. All 4 of you.
Yes.
All right.
Babies.
Yes. And my grandbabies.
The grandbabies.
Yes. All right. Proclaiming the name, prolifically insane. It wasn't no shame. Who's to blame? Abundance of denial, demonic entities chilling from within that old smile. You got underlying conditions, selfish ambitions, local fruitions. You right there, you got to pay your tuition. Who are you? You scrutinizing the soul being, you perpetrating on your spiritual sin, you fronting on your financial need, but you transparent as glass, obviously desiring to be vast. Now you want to come and cling to my ass? You got strongholds of control, blind to the fact that you don't know. Because you right there, you need a crowd from your soul. Who are you? Oh, you just another jibber jabber, another wound stabber, reflection of yourself, misconstrued thoughts, confused in your spirit, trying to understand this woman, baby. I can't be bought. So now if you glad, then I'm glad. And if you mad, then I'm mad. So if you feel your better half is agitated in her soul money, check your own self, because I'm a reflection of your very own soul. So now who are you? Or should I say, who was I? I was the one approached by that perpetrating mass. This fool came and pimped my ass. But like Lauryn Hill said, I was talking out the side of my neck. I was saying I was Christian, fighting with lust and celibacy all from within. And this fool talking about I'm tying a knot with you because you my boo. That wasn't fair, just a counterfeit and a rare despair. But grace and mercy is what got me by. And just another experience in my life to say, what? The foe is a lie. So now who are you? Who was she? Oh, who was he? Who was we? And I guess after I figured out all of us, then I said I had to let it go, for control is no place to dwell in. It's deeply rooted from a tree of insecure being. So now while I lie to myself about being in non-marital relations, I only need the other person to secure my damn frustrations. So now I'm wondering why I'm beginning to tell lies. It's just my control and pride that wouldn't allow me to deny my very own strength that I really couldn't handle what was heaven sent. So now I'm disputing, I'm verbally abusing. I'm in another place, in another level of recognizing my ugly face, which is confusing. So now my vivid is now vivid. And now I see that my insecurity and jealousy, it now has me in a chokehold, because my self-denial wouldn't allow me to let go, y'all. But I had to let it go. I had to let go. I had to, come on, y'all, let it go. Now I'm going to sign off because I'm really feeling y'all. And I'm going to hit you with Totally Spirit, Miss Pluke, Ghost. You got it?